How's everyone doing today? It is Thursday evening and I am going to be breaking down this 40 kill game. This is going to go under the Kill More Die Less series. This is going to build on what we've already been talking about in other videos. We learned a little bit about spawns, a little bit about flanks, and pretty much just staying in the play. Being able to recognize where other players are going to be and where they deviate to after the spawn is a good way to always have engagements and learn a little bit more about the game by always playing more against other players. More engagements is really the key to good offense, because that means you have more opportunities to kill, but of course you have more opportunities to be killed. That's why in the Perfect Defense video, we talked all about recognizing when players were around you. When you're going to be really offensive is actually some of those times where you have to be more so on your defensive game, know what's going on around you, know your angles, know your outs. Now seriously, one of the biggest parts to doing well in this game is to pick an S or A tier weapon. Sometimes you can get away with a B, but you can't be fooling yourself. If you want to be in an even footing in this game, you have to pick from some of the S tier weapons. Those are going to be your bread and butter, and it's not as simple as just picking up an alternator and just wrecking everybody. A big part of being good with a weapon is consistency. A good example of this is actually GameSager. Every time I've seen him play, it's with an alternator and phase shift. Somebody like me who just came off a long run of grapple, I also use different weapons, different abilities. It really throws off your timings. Even when I was playing with Tony Mo the other day, he put on the car, we did a fun game with the grapple, we did some pistoling. Usually I'm really comfortable with the grappling, but since I already had my mindset for the last week because I'm trying to experiment some stuff with the phase shift and the alternator, I'm trying to really explore balance, so I have to be really consistent with a kit. Even though I felt like an asshole, but literally this is some of the easiest ways to get these big kill games. Usually I'm not big on showing videos like that because if the other team is just really bad, I just think that's silly. Usually I'll turn it down a notch because I don't think there's any reason for me to just be pushing over little kids in the playground thinking I'm the best as I whip these softballs at them. Pull like a Billy Madison, you know those playground bouncy balls that are made out of rubber, they're kind of like checkery. They don't hurt too much, but they got some impact. It's like getting hit with an airbag, it'll knock you on your ass. Anyways, so we've established that you should use good weapons. Like I said, I think people still vary in how good. He had a note right here. He should have known I was there. He heard me shooting. He probably hears me reloading. Like, I know he didn't just teleport out of this room. So he did have an out if he was listening to the game sounds and taking some cues. But before I drifted off, I had to commentate that because I think it was important to note. And I love doing those 360 slides. Anyways, the point I was trying to say is that some people vary on what their S tier is to them. Whatever your lowest time to kill weapon, which I mean like you have to pick something you're good with as well. Usually it will correlate to something in the meta, at least somewhere in the ballpark. The turret is still shooting at people behind cover. What do you think of that mechanic? Because they didn't make it slightly weaker, even though it headshots me from time to time. What else changed? You can now destruct the AWOL. To be honest, I find the AWOL so bad. It's honestly really bad. Unless you're doing something cheesy, like having a whole team use them to lock an area down, then honestly, I don't think it's strong at all. I don't even see it much on Xbox One anymore. So recap, we are picking a decent weapon. Ordnance, it's your pick because it has to be something that you're good with. Find something that you can do some damage with, stick to it, and refine your build. Because I find that it depends on what you're good with. That's why it's really hard to just give like a singular advice that's going to help you, because you're all snowflakes. It's time for that talk, how all of you are unique. But it's true, everybody has different strengths. Like grenades are my thing. That one doesn't hit them. I don't even know. No splash damage, come on. Grenades are usually my thing. All right, I'm gonna have to pop open the hacks box. All right, everything's going well. Let's recap again. We have the weapon, ordnance, it's your pick. What about your other tactical? Are you going to use an ordnance kit? Even though I'm good with grenades, I don't find that it helps me. I find that then I'm trying to force out too many grenades. But when I'm using a star, then I find that I need to use the ordnance kit, but then I end up changing my tactical for something that isn't as dependent on the power cell. The strength of this build is you need the power cell, you need the tactical, and then every time you kill somebody, you pretty much always have a note because you're able to phase shift. Homing grenades engaged. The grenades are really so good in this game. I think they take skill. I think they are fun to throw. I love seeing people just fly off of buildings, especially towers. I love seeing people fall off of towers, especially if I have some sort of scope on my gun. And when I'm sniping, I changed actually my field of view when I started sniping. I changed my sensitivity on the aim down sights to be different from my just regular movement. I make a lot of changes based on the weapons I'm going to use. That's why usually you want to be really consistent, because you don't want to be changing it all the time. Like if you're going to change the tuning on your guitar, it's a pain in the ass to keep going back and forth. I'm just saying you need to be somewhat consistent if you want to learn something and get good with it. If you guys have any feedback on the content of this channel, make sure to leave it in the comments. Likes are always appreciated. What else can we do? We're going to be continuing this series actually, because I think the next one's an interesting one. We're going to be covering gaming intuition. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.